What's good, party people? No. What's up, everybody? It's your boy OG, and I am live right now on the tube. So if you want to go watch me live, go to OMG ITZOG on YouTube. Love y'all. Bye. Okay. Now, put-
From like the world, right? Like, well, imagine the people who are like, man, you got such a great fucking rack, babe. Like on the internet. Yet they got a fucking wife and like 3 kids. But it's like Kevin Mitnick, fucking, with a photo of him like in his office suit, like going to work. Or him hugging his family, like. Some already do that with their real names. I know, it's fucking weird. Wait, Kevin Mitnick died? I was trying to make up a name, but Kevin Mitnick was the name that came to my head. Shinji's the only taco streamer my wife watches that you know of. She's sitting on the dunny like, honey, I'll be out in a minute. Got burnt peanut on or fucking, I don't know, General Sam. Not Bradlington. I have no idea who that is. Oh, wife is cheating on Ginger with other streamers.
Oops.
Sam catching strays. General Sam's awesome. I know they're making a burnt peanut stream item. I've already spoken to Nikita about it. Anton's still streaming. I saw him playing Battlefield the other day. I watched Pestili's OnlyFans for the story, not the pictures. I got no idea who's they're making for. I just know that I sent Nikita some images of what Burnt Peanut wanted as his streamer item. He sent me 3 images.
Oh, God.
Well, I was sitting with him in person, and I sent 3 images to Nikita. I have to go run errands with my wife. Will history of Taco be uploaded as a YouTube video? The actual video itself will be uploaded, and then there'll be also I'm thinking about doing like a react video to it, but you can watch on my Pestolia YouTube channel. You can go to the live section. You can rewatch the live VOD as well if you wanted to. In person or in Peanut? He What do you mean? It's the same. Tomato, tomato.
Mm-mm.
What's Tarkov what? Saturday. It's okay to stop watching him without spreading hate. Yeah, exactly, Jim Penn. All right, so the rundown is I'm gonna get the Chaos crew in on a Discord call. And then we are going to history of Tarkov. So yeah, the way it's gonna work is I'm gonna get them on a call. I'll introduce them. Once I've introduced them, we will do we'll watch each of the videos. We'll talk about it and then go from there. Do we know a downtime? So, not my position to say it, but Nikita said that the downtime's going to be not my position to say potentially on the 14th. Like the game will go down on the 14th. Loud alarm in 40 seconds. I'll disable it. How do I turn it off? Do I just delete it? Do you reckon that would work? I deleted that. The thing. It might still go off though.
All right.
Ah!
Oh.
The loud alarm went off. I'm sorry, chat. Yo.
Hey, mate.
Can you guys share your cameras as a source?
I can if I.
Yes.
I can if I set that up.
That
in
was the
OBS.
alarm for the fucking the history.
Virtual camera.
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello?
Frank Walker from National Tiles. All right, I'm just going to set up the
Car extended warranty.
playlist for this. And then
I could maybe do a different camera.
We need a camera.
well,
Wait, do we need a camera?
yeah, it could be nice. Cool. You don't want to fucking show your face?
Mate, you could have warned for this. I don't have a camera plugged into this PC.
Nah, neither.
Neither. Yeah.
Well, I do.
Oh, well, look at
Yeah,
you, Mr.
webcam.
Fanrakia.
I'll go
Brag
to
about it, Racky.
I'll be right back.
We're all
Yeah,
supposed to
brag
be
about it,
streaming,
Racky.
mate. Get out of bed.
We're all streaming with our cameras that are plugged into the stream PC.
Yeah, and you share it from OBS on the
Yeah,
controls.
but we have two
you go-
PCs. When we have two PCs.
I just went and got a webcam and just plugged that in.
Okay,
Hi, guys.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Yeah.
Wait, you have your camera plugged into your gaming PC?
I just
No,
put
it's a stream PC, and I have Discord on game PC.
Oh, I have Discord on both. Right, gotcha.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so location that one.
It's not hard to put Discord on your streaming PC, guys.
I don't know why you guys don't have Discord on your streaming PC in the first place. Then you can't like dock shit.
Because I have this Discord for gaming. I don't always. I mean, to be fair, I do mostly game on stream. But like, what if I'm off stream? Then I have to have another computer on just for Discord.
Wait, you turn your computers off?
Yeah. I'm not rich, man. I don't pay fucking power bills.
You don't pay the power bill. Rhino does.
No, yeah, we got halves.
They're energy hugs, bruh. Oh, okay, my time is Orcarius. Is that how you say it? Or Orceus? What the fuck is Orceus? Prevalence? How long is this going to take? Just be patient. You in a rush? We're here for a good time, not a long time. Wait, we're here for a long time and a good time. You meant precious. Fucking learn to spell. Learn to spell. When is the movie starting?
Um. hmm,
Actually, I might do
Interesting.
it like this. View playlist, delete, and then I'll click the next one.
Why does that look like that?
Yeah, I had to disable the camera and re-enable it in OBS. And if you got to set the camera in Discord to OBS virtual camera.
The virtual camera.
If you guys can't do camera, it's fine. Oh, there we go. See?
Hey.
And then you can put a
Professional.
cool background like I am, Drake.
I don't know how to do that. I actually like yours because it's doing the background removal while having a green screen there, so you have like a little green halo. I think it looks sick.
So we're doing stream together as well? Combined
Yeah,
chat?
yeah, I'll set that up.
Shoot.
Oh, for fuck! I don't know how to. Yeah, this is gonna be confusing.
You've got multiple cameras, don't you, Brad?
Stream together.
I may have thrown them all out because I'm moving house, but let me just see what I can do.
All right, if you can't do it, right, it's fine. We've got everyone else. We've got the important people.
Important people there.
We know what you look like.
Wait, that's a green screen. I legit thought you were streaming in the kitchen. No, that's the. This is where I used to stream, like literally used to stream. And now I stream. Do you want me to break the immersion? Green screen. Or
Yeah, don't share your mic, Pest, on
remember when we filled up the balloons for
can't
subs?
stream together.
They're still fucking there.
Ah!
I've still got all those balloons there. So
Yeah, the first thing I do when we join stream together is I mute the entire thing.
Just having sex.
Now I can't hear him at all.
All I heard was sex.
sorry, did you hear me? Did you?
We are body.
I was hearing you double for a minute.
Okay. So, whilst Red's sorting his life out, ooh, hacking the mainframe, Drake. I like it.
Yeah, getting in there. I'm going to show the history that you haven't seen before.
While Red's sorting his life out, what we'll do is I'll full screen the video, and you guys can just watch the stream thing. Yeah, so you guys can do that. But whilst Red's sorting his life out, I'm joined today with Chaos Crew. These are the guys I do the speed runs with. These are the guys I do subathons with. The shenanigans. Most of the time that I play Tarkov, I play with someone else. It's one of these guys. We've got next to me Mr. Drakezilla.
Hello.
He's had the loadout lottery. He's done a Path of Exile with me. He's a beast at Path of Exile 2 hardcore, by the way. What, top 50, if not top 30 you got to?
I got top 33, I think was my best.
Fucking what a beast. In hardcore solo self found mod I add. Underneath is Twain __. She's pretty much never killed me in Tarkov. I've killed her multiple times. But that was just to get her up to pace to be able to play with me.
No, you were literally 1 HP and all you had no whatever.
Wait, your audio went to shit.
Oh, it's using your mic.
Oh fuck. Wait.
But nah, she's absolutely a weapon in this game. Actually, like legitimately a weapon at this game. So let's get this is good. This is going to get volume sorted now. Used to live in Australia. Now
Wait,
lives.
am I good now?
Yeah, you're great. Great. Lives in the UK.
Thank you, I know.
So she's destroying the EU players and the NA players. It's so much better playing in Europe from an Australian It's like it's a night and day difference. Next to Twain
It's nice
underscore.
having busy
sorry.
raids. Yes.
Yeah, it's so fucking good.
Yes.
I asked a question about matching times, right? And there was people who chat like OCE problem. I'm like, it's not just OCE, right?
No, it's not. So it's not. Even sometimes if I queue NA East, like from here, it's still like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it's the same problem. Yeah.
Oh, and trainers
We
also
had
falling
8 minute
downstairs.
matching times the other night.
So you know, pick your devil.
Trainers also falling down a staircase as well, haven't you, Train?
I have. I just wanted to be cool like you. So.
Yeah, yeah. So you know,
Follow
there-
your heroes, chat. Follow your heroes.
Just push him downstairs. Next to Twain is my dad, Toast Rack TV. I introduced him on stream during one of my subathons as my dad, and everyone literally thought it was my dad, and we've run with that. So Toast Rack TV, absolute weapon at understanding that Tarkov is actually a stealth game. And it does a lot of really fun challenges like the one job challenge, which I'm assuming you got from me yelling at Michael, one job.
You had one job, Michael. That's right.
And just a real wholesome dude. Like, every time I get to catch up with him in Melbourne, it's great. And last but not least, Red OPs. Met him at PAX in Australia like 2018, 2019. I think 2019. I think it was like a PUBG tournament. But been playing games with Red since I got back in 2021. Actually, yeah, 2021. We won Twitch Rivals together. We just narrowly bet Landmark, Warren, and Willers, I think it was. It came down to like the wire. He found a fucking, what do you call it, relay in like the last seconds and clutched the victory. And yeah, very entertaining, very loud, very Australian. Today, we're going to be talking about our experiences in Escape from Tarkov whilst watching videos on all the patches. So the way it works, guys, is I have a big video to show you guys where Tarkov came out of Alpha. It's literally like, this is what Tarkov looked like when it came out of Alpha. And that's our baseline. I felt like I had to put a good baseline video in. So then that way, from there, when you're watching all these other patches, you understand where it went to from there. So it goes over like the fundamentals of the game, from like the game mechanics being like the inventory, the traders, what the traders had for sale, the maps, all that stuff. And then once we do that, it shows a patch moving forward, what was released. Now, just briefly, guys, when did you guys start playing Tarkov?
2018.
2019.
2017.
Start. Or late 2019, actually. Late 2019.
So, you know, like, it'll be good because like the 2019 people will pretty much ask us questions about the 2017, 2018 experience. And then once we get to 2019, we'll all have our own experiences that we can share. But it should be like, this is just a bit of a throwback, you know, a nostalgia hit, a fun way of doing that. Oh, one last thing. Red OPs is also a very famous YouTuber. I really should have included this. Has how many million views on the Tim Tam Slam? He has a YouTube short with like 35 million views. No word of a lie. Go check it out. It's a fucking Tim Tam Slam, bro.
Up now? Hello.
It's your claim to fame. That short, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. That short's probably got more views than like nearly all my shorts combined now. It's got that big. It's got 1 million likes.
Yeah. Yep. I don't even know what it's at
Pyro's
now.
telling me to tell you that you need to turn me up because I'm really quiet, apparently.
Oh, you could just be louder.
Hello?
40
try speaking up.
million.
Much
40
better.
million. All right, so for you guys in Discord, just full screen the application of the watch, and then I'll just play the video, and that will be the best way of doing this.
So my camera's going to disappear while we watch it, and then I'll turn it back on because I have to watch it on the other PC and then come back.
Yeah, and we'll just mute on Discord. So mute up now, and then I'll start the video.
Bye.
Perfect. Bye.
Okay.
Love you.
And just yell at me if it's not working. Hi guys, this is Pestillion. Welcome to the history of Tarkov. Today, I'm going to be giving you a nostalgia hit, a throwback to when Escape from Tarkov became a public game to play all the way up until now. The reason I'm showing you this is so you guys can get this nostalgia hit of all the patches along the way. If you are only new to the game, you'll be able to see everything that's happened along the way and all the steps to get to where we are now. The good, the bad, the ugly. We're going to be covering all the major patches, the wipes, the memorable moments, the events like Punisher tournaments and Twitch rivals, and much, much more. So, sit back, grab a Tashonka and a brewski, and enjoy the ride. So without further ado, let's crack straight into it. Now, I'm going to start off from when the game was primarily publicly available in July 2017, but I do think I should touch on that before July 2017, Tarkov started development back in 2012, and with its first gameplay reveals in 2015. It's based in a fictional post-Soviet aesthetic in an area known as the Novinsk region, and this is where we begin our story today in the history of Tarkov, July 2017.
So
I think it's
fucking
important for us to set a
good,
baseline of
bro.
what the game looked like coming out of alpha and into beta, giving us a baseline from where all the future patches come from so you can compare it to now. So starting off with the character. First up, the health pool was slightly different. Thorax had only 80 health instead of 85, and damage was distributed differently. Initially, if you had a blacked out limb and took one more damage to that limb, you died. So leg matter was actually one of the major contributors of death in the beginning of Escape from Tarkov. This was later changed and removed and had many different iterations how damage distribution is across your body. As for the container, there was really no limits to what items you could put into your container. If you wanted to, you could put a gun in there, pistols. There was even the pocket M4 that would fit inside the Epsilon container. This was a 2x4 M4 that you would put into your container. You would go in as a hatchet runner, and then when you'd friendly someone, you would literally be able to pull out the gun, shoot him in the back, and then put the gun back in your container. Now over to movement and gun positioning. There was the high and low ready. This was a major thing when it came to close quarter combat, and you'd be going into factory and effectively barrel stuffing people, and your weapon would raise up into the sky. Scavs would also push up to you, and you'd be trying to shoot the scav, and your barrel would constantly be pushed up into the sky because it would go into the high ready because you're too close to a enemy or a target, and you would not be able to shoot them, but the scavs would be able to shoot you perfectly. There was different types of inertia in the actual alpha compared to what we have right now. Well, as the game went into the beta, there was really no inertia in the game. However, weapons did sway much differently to what they do now. If you were moving about, the weapon would sway quite a lot, and ergonomics played a major part in this. Your movement was quite different as well. Stutter stepping was also a major thing that everyone did. And stutter stepping is where you start your sprint and stop your sprint over and over again. So you're effectively silent, but also being able to move faster, but ready to shoot at a moment's notice. Doors had animations. So every time you opened a door, instead of just being a simple little arm swing, it would be a full door animation of opening. Same with unlocking doors and other things throughout the game, which made it very hard to stop doing what you're doing and fight an immediate threat. These were all removed later on. And for skills, there was a lot less skills in the game. You would also lose skills over time if you didn't play. And the memory skill was a major contributing factor, so you didn't lose any of your hard-earned progression on your skills if you didn't play. For example, if you had max memory skill, you would not lose anything. If you had level 1 memory and level 2 endurance, if you didn't play for a day, after 24 hours, your endurance level would start losing skill points every hour you didn't play. There was also no limit to how much you could level a skill in the raid compared to what we have now. You were able to go into a raid with 3,000 rounds and shoot into the sky and max out your recoil control skill. And that skill has also been removed from the game in current times. So to the game actual inventory management and when you're back at your stash, it was a lot smaller stash you had. You had less containers. There was no containers in the game at all. And you only had the 5 traders: Prepper, Therapist, Fence, Skier, and Peacekeeper. The items were very limited. There was barely any items. Some of these traders had almost no items at the starting level. It was a much different game to what we have right now. The item amount added in the future years coming through Escape from Tarkov is actually quite impressive. Now over to the actual general gameplay. If you went into a raid and someone had disconnected or alt F4'd their game, they would literally just stand there and you could hit them endlessly and they wouldn't die. Then when they rejoined, they would be able to shoot you and you'd be stuck there, you know, trying to fight for your life. Keys had unlimited use. There was very few keys in the game. Stuff like factory key was like one of the major key finds. People would make videos saying the factory key spawn locations in the game. It would have such a big influence on having extra escapes on factory and also a shortcut on customs. Loading times were quite different as well. They were capped around the 2 to 3 minute mark. So if you died, you were able to get back into a raid relatively quickly. And rubber banding was intense for the first 60 seconds of a raid. I have many memories of going into a raid as a squad with my teammates, and they would stand still for the first 30 to 60 seconds of a raid, and then all of a sudden they would be zooming around the map, catching up to where I am, and they would also, you'd actually see the path they traveled with all that zooming. Also moving around the maps, you would see scavs flying across the sky and getting placed down into the spawning positions. There were no scav bosses. These came in much later on. And grenade throwing was instant. You press the default keybind G on your keyboard and it would immediately throw a grenade out of your rig. Probably one of the least spoken about and how it combated a lot of the slower movement in the game. Because if you thought someone was somewhere, you would just press G, throw a grenade in that area, and if there was someone camping a corner, they would have to move because the grenade landed there. Compared to what we currently have of pulling out a grenade, and then throwing the grenade into the position you want to, it was about 10 times faster. Next, we have magazine loading. If you had an empty mag and a stack of 60 rounds of PS545 and you wanted to put it in that mag, just by simply dragging it into that mag, it would instantly fill it. Eating and drinking would be consumed instantly with no animation. Just by simply right-clicking and clicking use, it would instantly eat or drink that food. There was no option to partially drink as well. Now for over to healing, when you were healing during combat, it was a little loading bar across the bottom. You were able to hotkey as many meds as you wanted to, and you could hit all of them at the same time. You could be popping a painkiller whilst using a salua and a cheese all at the same time whilst shooting. So as you can tell, it's a very different game to what we have right now. Now, back when Escape from Tarkov came out of alpha into beta, we had 4 maps available. I don't believe Nighttime Factory was available immediately after, but between July and October when I started playing, Nighttime Factory became available. But starting off with Factory. So initially, Factory was a much smaller map than we had right now. There was 5 to 6 players that would spawn on the map. The main key that everyone wanted was the factory key because it opened up all the extracts besides the main gate 3 that we currently know. The 3 spawns from glass hallways, forklift, and then the spawn next to forklift was one of the most highly contentious and like intense places that you could spawn, because if you spawned in one of those 3 locations, you knew you had to fight 2 people immediately, and then you would run past pumping station into the silo area, and then you'd be fighting people that would spawn over on the single player side and red blinker. So single player is effectively the bottom left spawn, and if you were to go down that small ramp, look left, and there's the red blinker down the bottom. Now if you spawned at single player, you would immediately run across to red blinker so you could shoot the person down at red blinker. There was also one other spawn in the middle of the map, which was near silos, which is currently still a spawn today, and that was largely all the spawns that people had in Factory. There was still the bathroom and the top floor of the actual office areas, but it was a very intense PvP map. Because it was so close quarters, you were immediately into fights. It was really good for PvP and practicing getting better at the combat within the game. It was way more lit up. You were able to see across this map way better. And due to how sound worked in Escape from Tarkov back in 2017, there was no occlusion zones. So you could hear someone through all the walls. So if you're up in the main office factory area, you would be able to hear someone running around over at the forklift. So you would know that you need to run over there to fight the person over there. It was a much cleaner, old school, Unreal Tournament, Half-Life kind of vibe when it came to PvP. Even though the scav and the immersions was terrifying, it was by far the most favorite map for me, but it was just the map that had what was core PvP combat for Tarkov. Now, one other little trick that people used to use, this is back in 2017, and people still don't even know that this is actually a thing right now. Scavs actually have a difficulty multiplier. So, for example, there's like a normal difficulty scav, a harder difficulty scav, and an extreme difficulty scav. And they still spawn in Escape from Tarkov today. The longer you're in a raid, the harder the scavs are, the more aimbody they are, but the better loot they have. Back when the 6B43 armor was in the game, Factory was the best place to farm it. The way you would get it is you would wait until the last 5 minutes of the factory raid for the scavs to spawn in. It would be the last wave of scavs, and then you would hope to kill them for a 6B43 armor. So, just to give perspective, Factory was a very different map to what we have today. Covering probably one of the biggest, most talked about features or things in Escape from Tarkov from the very beginning till now is sound. So back in 2017, sound had no occlusion zones. So if someone was down 1 or 2 floors from you, you would just hear them down 1 or 2 floors. They sounded effectively the same. There was no indoor-outdoor audio. And if you were moving around and you heard someone else move around, you would literally just look in that direction and that's where they were. It wasn't like reverbing off walls. It wasn't, you know, an indoor-outdoor sound or weird stuff. It was just straight directional audio. Occlusion zones have definitely changed Escape from Tarkov, the reverbs, the immersion factors. It's got amazing sound design, don't get me wrong, but I'm just trying to let you know that the sound was quite different, if not significantly different to what we have right now. Another thing that was a massive change in the gameplay loot was if you went into a raid with a map on you, you were able to pick what side of the map you spawned on. So for example, if you were going into customs, you'd be able to pick if you wanted to spawn on the red storage unit side or the boiler side of the map. And that's how we came to the point of calling it boiler. This was later changed and removed from the game. All right, so over to customs. Now, customs was a different beast entirely. The largest and most scariest spawn you would get is over on the red storage unit side, or Big Red. On this side of the map, it was the most amount of spawns and congestion. If you spawned in here, you would be expecting to fight at least 1, if not 2 or 3 other players / teams, and a lot of fights went down there. Now, as we progress across the bridge, there was a much smaller section of construction that you would be able to get access to. There was the Welcome to Tarkov truck, where you get the unknown key from, and then there would be Elbow. That was all walled off, so you could only go through that area to go through Elbow to get into construction. There was no way to go into any of these buildings, and you would have to go up into construction if you went through Elbow. If you went on the other side of the road and you were going towards dorms, it was all very similar, and you'd be able to push up across to dorms. Now, as you went through dorms and construction, the new Skelly area was not there. You wouldn't be able to go through that. Pretty much from the point where you get bad rep evidence out of that little shack up until the shipping container to go through the wall, that was as far as you could go along through construction. On the other side, you had the bus depot and obviously dorms, and then you would push towards the east and where the train tracks is and the bridge. Now, at this point in time, the bridge, everyone had to either go just next to it or underneath it. There was no other way from the left-hand side to the right-hand side of the map. And the way the spawns worked was you either spawned in the boiler side on the right-hand side of this bridge, or you spawned on the Big Red side and you'd be on the left-hand side of the water all the way over there. So effectively, if you stood on this bridge, every single player in the map had to cross this bridge and go past you at some point in time. It was the largest choke point in all of Escape from Tarkov history, effectively. It made combat in customs very intense, because even if you were to survive through Big Red and all the the storage unit area, you move across the map, you would need to have to fight all the people that were coming from the boiler side past that bridge and Gas. And as we moved to the right-hand side behind Gas, there was no hill up on the top that you would be able to go up onto. That became later on in one of the expansions. And boiler was very much, the factory 7 room and a couple of little buildings in there where chemical part 4 goes. That is pretty much all of customs. It was a much more narrow, intense map, and largely PvP haven. It's where most people went for PvP outside of factory, because it was just so many choke points and it was full on all the time. As for keys, probably one of the most highly designed key was the factory key, because it just gave you an option to go through the gate near New Gas, and obviously it was usable on factory as well, but it just gave you another way of getting through New Gas and not having to go towards checkpoint and fighting the sniper scav and the players that would be coming from that way as well. All right, so now onto Shoreline. Now, Shoreline was a completely different beast to what we have right now. Shoreline was effectively the whole right-hand side of the actual in-game map. There was no resort, and the waterway that goes through the center was the boundary, the western boundary. Starting at the very bottom, the bunker was an actual extract, and that was one of the major extracts you would take.
Oh,
You would
really?
have all the village was all still located there, including the swamp. There was less buildings in the swamp and less loot in those buildings. And also you wouldn't have any access to the actual resort. That would also just be walled off, and you would be able to go all the way up towards power, but you would not be able to go into power, and then down to the pier. Pier was the other extract that you would take on shoreline. Most of the fighting on this map happened largely around the cottages and on Scav Island because there were med bags out there. But realistically, this map was a very small and different map, and a lot of it was mostly just fighting out people in fields and going through the village trying to find any loose items. There was almost no keys at all on the map, if not any keys at all on the map, and it was just totally different map. The resort came later on in an expansion. All right, now over to woods. If you're looking at the map I'm looking at right now, it is a completely different map to what you would know in the past. About a third of the size of current Escape from Tarkov woods. Now, majority of the spawns started on the UN roadblock wall. So on the left-hand side, you know, there's that brick building where the train station is, and then heading down towards the big sniper rock in the middle. All the spawns were pretty much along that wall, and you would be fighting people instantly. Then on the other side of the map, outskirts, was a much smaller size. They pushed it out later on, but outskirts was pretty much you started, although the extremity was the wall behind the actual building at outskirts, and along that eastern and northern wall was where you would spawn. You would be literally spawning and being able to see people instantly when you spawn into woods. Now, for the big sniper rock down the bottom, people were not able to climb that. There was different instances where there was like ways to glitch yourself up the wall, and that was a bit of a fun challenge that people did, but to get up there was a very extreme thing, and nearly no one ever went up there. Spine and what we call now is Dickhead Rock was still one of the major places you would fight people if you were fighting people towards the lumber mill. It was a way more open up map too. You would be able to see a lot more into the lumber mill. However, fog played a major part in being able to see into any of these areas on the maps. ZB014 was still the major key that you would use for this map, so you'd have an extra extract. But there was very little loot to actually obtain on this map at all. There was the silencer shack, scope shack. That's one of the major loot spawns on the whole map, and then also inside the lumber mill. Outside of that, there wasn't really a lot of other loot. There was no fob towards the Ruaf side of the map. There was no fob there. There was the down plane, and there was not really any loot around that either. And the main reason you'd be going to woods is just to get some of your quests done, which were largely just kill scav quests, and that was it. All right, so there you have it. That is when the game came out of alpha into beta, and the baseline from where all these patches come from moving forward. Hopefully you guys enjoy what's coming up, and let's crack straight into it.
Nice.
Wow.
So
What a
it was-
throwback.
It was obviously very different,
I
hey?
can't believe you could pick your
Yeah.
spawns.
Yeah.
Like,
so
what?
You didn't play when you could pick spawns?
That's 2019, remember?
No, and if I did, I didn't know about it. No one told me.
I didn't even know
True.
that was a thing.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was really good for like optimizing your like customs runs, because you know it's like, okay, I've got the unknown key, I want to spawn custom side, go over to boiler to get the task done and such. And now it's like, oh, I've spawned boiler side, I gotta cross the map, and then I gotta cross back. Like
Yeah.
it had its
How long
benefits.
was that in the game
sure.
for?
Probably about a year, maybe a little bit less.
Yeah. Year or
Oh,
so.
okay, so not that long, really. Also, the
If you wanna-
running of the PMCs back then, they're just like,
It looks so different, hey.
yeah, it's so weird.
The probably the biggest thing that like we didn't have a lot of examples of, but that the lag at the start of a raid. So say I went into a raid with Toast, right? You would start running around. Like you'd both start running around. Like on your screen, obviously you'd be moving, but then you'd be like, Toast, you coming? And like,
Yeah, I'm coming.
he'd be like, I'm right next to you. Like I'm right next to you. And then you turn around and in fast motion, it'd be like,
I swear that happened for a while, though, right? Like, it was
did,
still there
did,
when I
yeah.
played, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
It was really bad back then though. Like it was literally like that's how every raid started.
Yeah.
every raid. So if you fought someone in the first minute on a customs raid, it was like ridiculous. And that's where you saw the guy. He was
Yeah,
like
spawn big
fighting the
red.
guy on factory, and he was meleeing him on factory. That's what the clip is. The guy's getting meleeed on factory, and he's watching himself get meleeed from a distance. But he like, but like it doesn't like make sense. And then he just falls over nowhere near the guy because the guy killed him on the other guy's screen. But yeah, it was so fucking bad. Like it was horrible.
You know, you work through it.
Boy, I miss that old factory though. Holy. I miss it so much. It was such a vibe. And then you did Insomnia on Factory, and it was just like so busy. And
Yeah, I do kind of miss Old Factory.
I miss her, you know. I miss her.
I'm gonna do shared chat just so like we can like all see the different like thoughts of chat and that. Old PKO6 was the like it was the main site that we used. Yeah, there was one thing that in the video I unfortunately didn't get to QA all this stuff. Like we've been swarmed. But the choke point on customs was actually that bridge in front of New Gas.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. That was the biggest choke point. That's why you wanted factory key, so you had another option to
get around that area. So if you got to that bridge in front of New Gas, every single player in the map had to go past it. Like we're talking the bridge plus like that little bit of like stone wall next to it. You had to walk through that part of the map. There was no other choice.
That's wild.
So if you killed everyone on boiler side, got to that bridge, any other player that was on the big red side had to come through. There was no other way to extract. And so you could just sit there and just go, all right, I'll wait for those guys to bring me the gear. There was a reference, someone spoke about the health that I saw in chat as well that I missed.
You know how like you had the bar that was the healing, right? Say like now you have the animation of using like the IFAC, yeah?
Yeah.
Is Red meant to be talking to us? Because all I see
no,
is
I think he's just
talking to chat.
Yeah, I'm making sure mine are on the good behavior.
all right.
They never
working?
are, but
Is it
yeah,
working?
sure. They're not going to listen to you. Okay, so you know the animation, was it healing you whilst that bar was progressing as well? Or
Correct.
was it only after the bar progressed?
So the second you
and
press
you could have
painkiller,
five meds.
so the second you press painkiller, it was activated. So, but you wouldn't be able to use a second painkiller until the bar was finished. That's why there was the loading bar. So, for example, if you were using a Salua, it would heal you while the bar's going through, and then when it's finished, you'd have to press it again to make it go through again. But you could arguably...
Plus you had 5 meds bounded.
Correct. So you technically could be shooting at someone and healing at the same... It was like...
Yep.
Like I said, it reminded me...
It's like playing WoW.
It was like when I was playing Half-Life back in the day or something like that. Like, not that you healed in Half-Life much, so you run around getting the heals. But it was very fast-paced. Like, combat was all about throw grenade, push, throw grenade, push.
Yeah. I mean, even like years later, before they put the animation in the builds, you would just throw a grenade in a room, push in the room, kill the guy, and you would run out of the room. And they're just like, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah. So
the grenades was such a big thing.
Somebody in chat spoke about armor stacking. So the armor rigs actually didn't come into the game until a little bit later.
Yes.
Probably. Did you see how big a packer was? It was a 4x4.
Yeah.
Very different. It's crazy going back and watching that. It was really hard to find good footage from back then. So we largely did use a lot of Deadly Slob, a bit of Cotton. I think a Rock Tick was in there. And those guys,
seeing some of the OG players.
I really want to emphasize, like, Deadly Slob taught me Tarkov. Like when you say like people say like Pistol is the granddad of Tarkov, Deadly Slob must be the great grandfather then, because like the initial fucking like quest guides were Deadly Slob. There was only like 12 quests per trader or something, but it was like Deadly Slob was the one that showed them.
Yeah, it was kind of nice seeing like older people that you just don't see in Tarkov as much anymore. And like just some of the old, guns and the builds. Like there was that M4 build, and it was just like such an old meta. It had the Bravo with the sight on top, and then it had the wave suppressor. And like, how often do you see the wave suppressor these days? Like you use whatever's better, right? You just don't see those builds anymore.
Yeah, it's like people wore like Packers and 6B43 armors. That was it. I don't remember there being any other armor at that point.
And the Kiva was the helmet because there was
UN
no
armor.
face hitbox.
Maybe the UN armor
But
was
could
in
you
there.
wear headset with the Kiva? Or no?
Nah.
And it sounds like looting was less of a thing. Like the video says, there's not much loot here, here, and here. That just was loot less of a thing.
Yeah.
A lot less.
When did you start Red?
And a lot of it.
See, I wasn't in this
2019
update.
Yeah.
I bought the game because I saw Grims
Yeah, I
play it,
wasn't
and then
either.
I loaded into factory, got shit on, and uninstalled it, and went back to PUBG. So
Yeah.
I think I
Hello-
played it in like 2018. I played a woods raid with someone. Nothing really happened much, and I said this is the most boring game I've ever played in my life. Never played it until like 3-4 years later. But I was like, this. I did nothing. Like, what was the point of that? I just run from one side to another.
I think what a lot of people don't remember with the loot is how like there was still a lot of that, like the screwdrivers and pliers and all that kind of shit. But they had no use. There was no use whatsoever for them.
There's
so
no
hideout
hideout.
didn't exist. Yeah, so you would be leaving behind
Oh.
like 99% of loot because it was just random trash that had no use.
And when you started,
Oh,
you're like,
also, I
pick-
didn't know Shoreline had no resort in the beginning.
Yeah.
yeah.
Just
I
the
thought it was
left
just
half of the map.
always fucking resort. Like, why would you go to
Mhm.
Scab Island? It's just you're gonna get stuck out there. So if you go out there, it's like you're just choosing to die. Like, I don't get it.
So
Now, was that all alpha? Was
that was
2017 all
that's
alpha?
when the game came out. That's what the game was like. Literally, what that video was.
So that's beta. So
Yep.
none of this is alpha.
No.
Was
So-
alpha factory only, or what was first?
It was small
Uh,
bat, big bat, right?
To be honest, I didn't play alpha. So I bought the game in July 2017. Started playing properly in October. So maybe Drake can answer a bit more, but I do believe.
I'm around the same time, yeah.
Yeah, it was something like small bag, big map. There was like a grenade launcher. If you shot the grenade launcher, it would lag the map and crash it. Like, there was like.
Yeah, grenade launchers like were in the game at the start. They just didn't work, so they had to just have them disabled for like 5 years.
Yeah.
compared to what we got now, that game looks like it was on PlayStation 1 from that video. Compared to like what we got now, the movement, the way everything works, it looks like it's like the old. Oh,
Fog was insane as well. Like, if you got a clear map, you were so excited. Like, it took a long time to get to the point where we are with Fog. Like, how many times? Because it was a way
Wasn't
for
that
them to
long ago,
hide
but-
blemishes. It's like it's a dev tactic to hide blemishes from distance. But yeah, realistically, like you couldn't snipe across woods nearly ever.
Do you think they also did it a bit to help with the whole rendering issue at distance? Because like
Yeah.
even now, sometimes like
That's
things
part
won't
of it.
render all buildings, right?
It's a developer tactic. They put like a artificial
Silent
fog at like
helicopter.
100 meters, always there,